Welcome back to my channel. This is Mark Brown, and we are going through the 10 commandments for IT project management success for sponsors. And this is the fifth commandment: Thou shalt not gold plate your projects. And what do I mean by that? Gold plating is where you add something that is an improvement, or things that would be a nice to have, or things that you think will make the project even cooler and sexier when it's finished and complete. Essentially, you may there are situations whereby for some reason the project manager is actually hawking projects, and as a sponsor you're trying to solicit support for this particular project. Why you would do that is beyond me. If you're someone who is a sponsor of a project, you're not a sponsor unless you have business buy-in and you've already built a business case. So trying to bring in other projects to overlap to get a project off the ground is absolutely reprehensible, and you are, as a sponsor, being irresponsible if that's what you're allowing your project manager to do, or you're facilitating that situation. This should never ever happen. And this will, if you do this, you are guaranteeing your project will fail and you will create a black swan project. Black swans are 1 in 5 projects that occur in our dysfunctional IT project management system. Black swans occur in 1 in 5 projects. They cost approximately 150% of the original budget and go 70% over schedule, and that's at a conservative estimate. They also have knock-on effects to the business that can actually be very negative for the business. Uh, it's a no-no. If you are developing a project and you, through your risk analysis and everything else, you realize that other projects that may be in the run or may need to run with this project in order for it to be a success, you realize that there's codependencies, and this can come out of an agile project or this can come out of a waterfall project. These things can happen, but they need to happen early on. You cannot do them as the project is running, or you're trying to hawk a project to get it its budget, or to get it off the ground, or to get support for it. Don't do those things. If a project if you cannot, as a sponsor, get a project off the ground, then you haven't built a proper business case, and you shouldn't be doing that. With that said, if you do happen to find projects that overlap and that build on and etc. and resources, you've got to document that and actually bring it around to being a new project. Because if you are running with an existing project and as you're doing a little bit of discovery before you kick off, and you're pulling these things together, if you don't change the resources and the schedule and do the proper planning and due diligence and build a business case, you're creating a window of failure for that project. And again, you are creating a dangerous situation where that project could fail, and other projects that you're kicking off with it could have dependencies that you'll also cause 1, 2, 3, or 4 or 5 projects to fail along with it. Or if you've brought it in as a giant project, it's guaranteed to fail. So whenever someone comes up with a good idea, if it's early on in the project, by all means consider it, but have a due process. Have a due process for scope creep. Scope creep isn't necessarily bad, but it needs to be done earlier on, and there has to be a cutoff point with scope, and this is included in agile as well as waterfall. You've got to ensure that scope creep, that there's set off cutoff points, and that there's an approval process for a change in scope. You do these things, your projects will be a success. So thou shalt not gold plate your projects. That's your fifth commandment. I will be back with the sixth in due course. Thank you.